Okay, so if you remember before Pesach, we were dealing with this very short Agadic statement that appears in two places here in Avodah Zarah and in Nidarim, that there are arba chashuvim kemei, that there are four who are considered like dead. And if you remember, we talked a little bit about the poskim who thought that the halachic equation of blind people to the dead had halachic implications having to do with cornea transplants and pikuach nefesh and Shabbos potentially and things like that, right? And I said at the time that I find it weird because no one would say it about any of the other three in the list, right? No one says about a poor person that becoming poor is in any way equated like death halachically. How did I know? Because I said, well, it's a pretty simple halacha, which is accepted by everybody, right? You would think that it's accepted that what? What?
That a poor person is considered.
No. What's the halacha is that in order to not violate an aseh, you have to give up a fifth of your wealth. But in order to not violate a simple lav, not just pikuach nefesh, right, you have to give up all of your wealth. And if you actually took this equation simply, right, that poverty equals death, so then
kill yourself for a lav.
Yeah, right, this halacha wouldn't make sense. Additionally, there is, so what I gave you, this is just remembering, right? Not 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 are only, we've already seen, right? That's the Gemara, right? The four people are like Meis, Ani, Suma, Mitzora, and Misha and Labanim, right? And I said the same is true by Mitzora, right? No one thinks that, right? You can kill a Mitzora, right? Like or whatever. I don't like. No one has any halakha. No one thinks this is Lamaisa, right? So why would you, or so you thought, right? That's always the problem. And this is, it's one of those things. No matter how many times I tell myself, don't say nobody says, right? Because somebody's going to say it.
Especially here, nobody says.
What? So I will now eat my words. Not lahalacha. I think it's still true what I said, right? But I will eat my words and say that it is not true that no one else thought it was true, right? That is untrue. As we already saw, there were poskim who indeed thought that for the blindness one, there were implications to Suma being committed. What about the Mitzora one? God help me. Right? Does anyone have in any way think that the Agadic statement that a Mitzora is like a dead person have any halachic statement? So, as I was sitting down to, go through whether I was right, I was like, oh wait, there's that really bizarre tshuva, isn't there, by the Mishnah Halacha. I remember that tshuva. And then I went to put it on the source sheet. But this is, I warn you before I read it, a really, really offensive tshuva.
Against who?
What?
Against who? Against halacha.
Yeah, exactly. So the Mishnah Halacha got the following Shaila. The following Shaila. He was asked whether you can daven for a mamzer to die.
That didn't work out.
What?
That didn't work out.
No, like, you have a mamzer, can you now daven for him to die?
Yeah, I'm saying that clearly didn't work out with Christianity now here.
What?
I don't think you know what a mamzer is.
Bastard child, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you daven?
I don't know what.
I understand. You have a mamzer in front of you. Can you daven for him to die?
Oh, because praying for Jesus, you're saying to die?
Praying for him to die, it clearly didn't work.
I see. Well, I don't know. Did people daven?
Backfire.
I don't know.
That's
like, okay. So, anyways, so he.
How could Jesus be a monster?
Okay.
Not even.
Okay. Let's move on. Thank you, guys. Let's move on. That would be the simple shot. Yes. Okay. So the Mishnah Halachot said, "Aha! Yes, you can," but his proof is more offensive than the answer he just gave, because it's bad enough for someone to say, "Oh yes, you can daven for a mamzer to die because God hates him." Right? That bothers me already.
It's like God hates him, or you can daven for him to die.
Oh no, because God, whatever.
I can daven for anyone to die. I thought.
No, you are not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to daven for people to die. We
Potentially,
yes. That's a good question, but that's not the sugya we're dealing with.
God hates gifts or loves anyone.
That doesn't mean that they were right.
Explicitly, not right. Us or a mutter, I'm talking.
Doesn't do it.
You shouldn't do it. Okay? You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't be davening for people to die, right? But he quotes a Paneach Raza, which is one of these.
You read the murder?
Stop. Okay. So, anyways, he quotes a Paneach Raza, and on the pasuk of Miriam, where the source text for the Gemara's claim that a mitzvah is kemes, right? And Paneach Raza says as follows: "V'zboni v'divrei Yerushalmi chaziti lekadosh echad midavar b'sefer Paneach Raza parshas Ba'alotcha." He says, "Aha! I found proof from the Paneach Raza. Ala pasuk al nati kemeit, on the pasuk of Aaron saying, please don't let Miriam be like a dead person. Shelo tieh kivlada yotzei michuser eiver." The Paneach Raza says, in what sense does a mitzorah look like a dead person? Because something like their limbs look like they're withered or something. So the child looks like the simple pshat we said is don't make the baby look like the mitzvah looks like a stillborn. Right? Paneach Raza says no. I guess because the limbs are starting to wither, it looks like a baby whose limbs are missing or coming off when they're born. Okay. Ubamum merechen imo. And everyone is davening for the child to just die out of their misery. Now, as weird as that statement is by the Paneach Raza, what did you think the Paneach Raza meant when you read that statement?
The baby's in a lot of pain. It's kind of merciful for the day.
So I didn't know if it was a normative statement. Right? First of all, I don't know if it's a normative statement. It could just be that people do daven for the baby to die because the baby is in agony, right? Or it's painful to watch, right? Right?
Like pain.
Right? Yeah, in pain. Right? Meaning, it could just be that he's just saying descriptively, right? Like people do this, right? People don't make your sister suffer to the point where people might want her to die, right? For her own sake, right? Mercy, right? It's not necessarily a normative claim. Even if it is a normative claim, presumably it's saying, look, like if someone's really in that type of suffering, like a newborn or who's like missing its limbs, okay, maybe you're allowed to daven for it to die in that circumstance. It's a very complicated circuit whether you're allowed to daven
for the people, the padarim, the avaranim.
So we talked about that a few weeks ago. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Here's more the question of whether people are suffering. But yes, you're right. We talked about it a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So, but the Mishnah Halachos takes this as a normative statement. He says, "V'nei nira davar chadash, divlad shenolad mechuser hever ubalmum muter l'tpal alav sheyamut." Right, that if a child is born as a balmum, so you can daven for him to die. V'adrabah chashvu b'lashon mevakesh alav rachamim sheyamut, klomar shezenin shel rachamim sheyamut, and it's merciful, etc., etc. And then if you skip down, so 3 lines on the bottom, he says, "V'gam shalom yvar meilu davar chadash." Now, he doesn't say explicitly that you can daven for a mitzvah to die, except that does seem to be his argument, because remember, because the pasuk was.
It's a nice thing. It's very.
No, because the pasuk was about mitzvah, right? It was don't make Miriam like a baby. Where it would be mutter to daven for it to die, which means that I think, right, he takes this implication seriously, which is that mitzvah kemet means that whatever halachic problem there is in general of davening for people to die doesn't apply to mitzvah. Right. Okay. Close that parentheses. I'm not so interested in that one. But what about
we daven for people to live? So
and this is the question in poskim, right? It's based on several Gemara. There are several Gemara that discuss this question. Can you daven for people who are suffering to die? Right? This is a very complicated shaila, right? It's based on many, many, many passages in the Gemara, right? Rav's maidservant. Okay, anyways. But the one that I didn't believe. So that one, fine. One bizarre tshuva in the Mishnah Halachot is not going to change my mind, right? What?
Those are the Masorah suffering a lot because his life sucks.
Yeah, this is not so weird. But the next one is weirder, right? Which is what about the ani? Right? In any way, would you say that an ani right, has the status of a mate in more than an agadic statement. So before we get to the halachic one, I gave you in number 4 one more agadic context in which this is brought up. So the Gemara in Bava Kama Kuf Yutet says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Kol agozal chavero shaveh pruta kilu notel nishmato mimenu. If you steal from your friend, it's if you killed him. Okay? Shneimar kein archot kol botzei batzat nefesh ba'alav yikach v'omer v'achal ketzercha v'lachmecha v'necho v'notecha v'omer machem b'nei Yehuda asher shavchu dam naki ba'artzam, etc., etc. It goes on to prove this. Okay? And then the Gemara's story, look, 3 lines from the bottom, is Tashma el Shaul v'beit adamim al sher emided givonim. The proof is that Shaul is held responsible in the Psukim for killing the Givonim. Remember the Givonim?
Yeah, the water carrier.
Yeah, right. Remember that nation that tricked the Jews, that became the water carrier, etc. But Shaul never killed the Givonim. That's why would you hold him guilty for a crime he never committed? So the Gemara's answer is Mitoch Shaharag Nov Irakonim. He killed Nov Irakonim, and the Givonim worked for the people in Nov, and now they were impoverished. They were all out of work. So it's as if he killed them. Okay, whether you like that Agadah or you don't. This is another Agadic context, but again, from the Gemara that we had in Avodah Zarah Hey and this one, would you have assumed what you get here is that, okay, if you impoverish someone, you will be punished badly by God, right? That still stops short of saying there is a halachic implication to this, okay? Now, like I said, I didn't believe for a minute that there could be a halachic implication to this, because, and now let me give you the proof. One is a Gemara in Shabbos Kuf Chaf, which is a long Gemara, so I just gave you the bottom line, which is a quote from the Gemara, okay? Number 5. Eino Yehudi, now this should sound pretty obvious. Eino Yehudi shebal lechabot, eino tzarech lemchot biyado, aval katan shebal lechabot tzarech lemchot biyado. If a non-Jew comes to put out a fire in your house on Shabbat, you don't have to stop him, right? But a katan, you do have to stop him. Okay. Now, first of all, what do you hear from this?
That you have to be willing to give all your money for a lot.
Meaning, you can't have a katan do it. You clearly can't do it yourself. Right? You don't have to stop a guy. What do you have to do? So, Sif Chavav. Yachal Omar, Bifnei Yehudi Kol Mechabein Omavzid. You can say, anyone who puts out this fire will not lose out. But what can you not do?
You can't say
right? You're allowed to invite him to come here. Even if he'll put it out. But what aren't you allowed to do?
Tell him to put it out.
You're not allowed to tell him to put it out. Why not?
That'd be you doing action.
It's called Amir L'Nachri. Now, that means that not only... Now, this Gemara should tell you what? Right? That
a big portion of your money.
You can... And what aren't you allowed to violate? Avdir Rabbanon. Right? Like, if poverty was like death, you would think that, okay, if it was really like death, you would say that you're allowed to put out the fire in your own house to make sure that you don't lose all your wealth.
You're allowed to hint.
Even if it's not mamish like death, what would you have thought you could have done?
Maybe Rabbanon.
Violated the Rabbanon. What is the halacha?
Can't even do it.
You can't even do the Rabbanon. What are you allowed to do? The same thing you're allowed to do in everything else in life, which is, a hint shalok derech tzivui. Remesh shalok derech tzivui. Right? Which is, if anyone puts it out, they won't lose out.
It's dark in here. But you
understand, what was the problem here? What's the problem? Right?
No halachic implication.
Yeah, right. Clearly, someone's house is burning down, he's going to be poor. And what do we say? You can't even violate a derabanan. Right? So the Ramah says, if there's pikuach nefesh, but me'ikra din, the Gemara says you are not allowed, you have to let your house burn down. Mishnah, period. Shabbos, kufchav. So the Ramah says, right? The Ramah says, Lamaisa, v'chol adinam v'niskarim b'dinei hadleika, hanimil b'meihem, v'zman shanu shruyin b'inav z'chav v'yichshasa kanin nefashot, kazu v'rishon v'achron shemut l'chav hadleika, v'shavan shemjesa kanin nefashot, v'zar reza mishubach. Right? He says, nowadays, because we live in closer quarters, and we live amongst non-Jews, and etc., it's sakanas nefashot, you can't put it out. Right? But, he says, but let's say it was a case when you know there wasn't a danger, right? You live by yourself, right? Well, they might get angry, right? A combination of Eva, it'll burn down their house, it'll burn down your house, whatever.
You're not allowed to violate Shabbos to save their lives.
Yeah, but it'll endanger your lives. Right? Because if you let them die, right? Meaning, So, and then later poskim say it's not just that we live amongst non-Jews; it's that we live in close quarters, right, etc. Makes sense. That's not like. But the Ramah says this is just a technicality, and therefore what? If let's say you live out on a small little island with one house, right?
Yeah.
So the fire is going to affect your house alone, right? And there's a small little bridge, footbridge that you can walk from your house to safety, right? Get off this island, right? And okay, maybe the bridge will catch on fire, but it'll be self-contained and put out by the water, right? The halacha would be
Burn down.
let down, and even if that's your only house, right? Doesn't matter, right?
All your life possessions.
What?
All your life.
Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. This is the simple pshat. Yes, right? Number 6, right? Now number 6 and number 7, right, are the basic gemaras, right? You know these gemaras. Number 6, v'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha. Tanya, Rabbi Elazar Amar Menemer B'chol Nafshecha L'Menemer B'chol Me'odecha. Right? Why do we say love God with all your money and all your soul? Menemer B'chol Me'odecha, Lama Nemer B'chol Nafshecha. Ela Yesh L'cha Adam Shegufo Chaviv Elav Mimamono. L'kach Nemer B'chol Nafshecha. Miyesh L'cha Adam Shemono Chaviv Elav Migufo. L'kach Nemer B'chol Me'odecha. Rabbi Kiva Omer B'chol Nafshecha. Feel no dod Nafshecha. Right? Famous Gemara. Right? Some people like their life more. Sometimes like their money more. But in the end of the day, sometimes you have to give up all your money, and sometimes you have to give up your life for Torah. When is that true?
3 main Averas.
Good, I gave you one of the, right, classic Gemara, except for the big 3. Or etc. Okay. And if you have to give up your life, you have to give up your money as well. And the summary in Chai Adam, Mikomakam afil b'tzina, afil lanas asmo, Chayav Adam, litin kol asher lo v'lo lavor, alav da'oraisa. Right? The simple pshat of the Gemara is, even in Sinna, right, you have to give up all your money, rather than violate a single lav. V'zeu b'chol me'odecha, b'chol mamoncha. Aval l'kayim mitzvah the same. But to fulfill an aseh, you only need a fifth of your things. So, now I gave you the source for this in 9 and 10. I don't know if you want to go through it inside, but I gave it to you in case you want it, right? I gave you the sources to prove that by assays you need a fifth. Do you care? We can skip it for now, but trust me, it's there. I gave you 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, and if you want to look in Shulchan Aruch as well, Kol Aver Shabbatar number 13, Kol Aver Shabbatar Chutz Me'avod Kolcham V'Gilei Raj V'Chodamim Omrim Lo L'Adam She'Yavra Aleim V'O Yahareg Imu B'Tina Yavra Hareg Rama V'Myuchal Atzaz M'Chol Asher Lo Tzarech Litin Hakol V'Lo Lavor V'Lo Yaseh. Right, that's the simple pshat. If you can avoid violating a law by giving up all your money, do that. The Pitzchei Tshuva has an interesting question, which is, what about a lav she'ein bo ma'aseh? Right? Is it lav versus aseh, or is it active versus passive? Fine, technicality. I gave it to you if you're interested in the lumdus. Okay?
Sure.
But again, you look at all these sources. What comes out pretty clearly from all these? What would you have said? What did I say? I thought.
Money's not like that.
Yeah, it's just not. There isn't a halachic implication to this. Just get over it, right? It just isn't, right? Okay, now turn to the next page. And then I discovered that there are certain people you can always count on to say something mechudash. Sometimes you'll agree, sometimes you won't. But always you can predict on saying something mechudash. One of those people is the Dor Revi'i, is Shmuel David Glasner, right? Which we've discussed several times over this year.
Yeah.
So in that same Hakdama, it's not. See, the funny thing with the Dor Revi'i is it's not just you can predictably count on him for being a mechudash. His chidushim are only same place in the Hakdama to Maseches Kulin, right? It's not like you have to look very far. It's all in the same place.
Condensed crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Condensed creativity. Look, there are things you like, things you don't like. Fine. Look at 17. So the Dor Revi'i says as follows.
17.
17.
On the
17. He says, Aval sheyesh min atemai mea shekazav aran bepergula v'gazav v'chen arashba v'arayvid dichdei lihinotzel shlo la'avor al mitzvat lo taseh mechuyav ha'adam litenet kol asher lo v'huk b'aydin lahalacha b'orachayim interpretation. Zion said, what are all these Vishonim and Shulchan Aruch talking about? Why would you think you have to give up all your money to violate a lav? V'hu pele! It is shocking! Lefi hatzatenu. Dari b'shvil pam achat sheyavor lo yagi elav haynezek. Something. Shenimshach achar avir alav zek sheragil. But he said, what? To not violate a law once, you have to suffer all that'll be incurred, right? Really? V'lo nishar rak hamemer derachmana, right? V'lo lo nemer lo amra tared lo tochal. Etc. Shekofin oto memil yitzarach litin kol mamona gidei lipater min haones. Shviz onanas rotzel lechufo lover dei levato mitzvasei. She didn't call mamono. Mayasa lo b'shvil kim mitzvasei in tzarach lefazer reklish mamono. Yivata mitzvah lo asido chalosa say mutav laver alosa say kedei shekayim a mitzvah. He says, I don't understand why, right? You only have to give up a third of your money. For a fifth of your money from it. So say elsewhere we hear about a third. That might be there's slight differences. Exactly what it's whatever it is. Let's say fifth, right? We can explain the difference between shlish and chomesh, but not for now, right? So he says, look, if someone's forcing you, it's an ones. So then it's not really a lav, right? You're not really violating this, or why? Because it's ones. Mm-hmm. And now it's just the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem or something, which you should only give up.
You're like
the fifth of your money.
What?
Right? It's an asay.
Oh.
Right? If onus removes...
The lav is only onus if you're achai to give up the fifth. If you're achai to give up the fifth, I don't know, it's valid.
Oh, yeah, so he's taking a particular svara there, fine. But this is his problem. Okay? And therefore he says, what is Eli saying? He says, if you look at where the next paragraph picks up, he says, and you know that Gemara that you all quote, that every lav you have to give up all your money? Just avodah zarah. Just avodah zarah. And no other lav. Okay. You could read it that way, right? And then he invokes this, this Agadata, which of Yaakov, right? You know the Agadata of Yaakov? Right, Yaakov is running away, etc. V'chulei, v'chulei.
Great.
And that he's going very pachim ktanim, etc. So this is his argument. Okay? But what's his bigger problem? Even if you get around this Gemara, right? Even if you get around the Gemara, which, again, he admits is against the Rashba, the Ran, Shulchan Aruch, minor figures, and the simple Pshat of the Gemara, to be fair, right? But fine, leave that aside. Right? Even if you get around that and say that you only have to give up all your money for Avodah Zarah and for everything else you don't, right? Which Gemara does he still have to deal with? Yeah, the Shabbos Gemara. That you aren't even allowed to violate a D'Rabbanan if your house is burning down.
Isn't Machal Shabbos Kilo your Avodah Zarah?
Oh, it's like, we'll answer up an Agadata with another Agadata.
I'm saying, once we're already bringing up some of the principles.
So I wish he had said that. That would have been better than what we're about to read. Okay, Ariel? So he says, they bring in your real.
But sometimes in the Rabbanan, people are making.
So look, guys. So but you're not allowed to here. It's a Mishnah.
Right.
So look down like 15 lines from the end, 10, 15 lines from the end. You see where it says Hayotze Lanu Mizeh? Right, he quotes the Ramah, who says, nowadays we live piled on top of each other amongst Goyim, etc., etc. But he says, Yotze Lanu Mizeh, She'em Nivzkeh, right, which implies that if one day, right, we would be Zocher to go to Eretz Yisrael, right, and not live in such a way, etc., then what would we have to do? Right? Let the house burn down, right? V'hutema. Now go 5 lines from the bottom of this pair on the right side. He says, V'hutema rabasa beinai. It doesn't make any sense. This goes against my analysis that you only have to give up all your money for Avodah Zarah. So you see that your life equals your money, and it's only by Avodah Zarah you have to give it up. By every other mitzvah you don't. Who adin eno mitzvah limtzar kolono? Achi mushlag achutz. You don't have to give up your wealth so that you'll be thrown outside of that house. Uvelo ochi adu the davar zeh pogeg am nafshes v'anius. V'gam das kono k'mo shamru Chazal, and it also, right? It's poget nefashos. It brings poverty, right, etc. this is a bit strange, right?
Wait, what is his answer to that?
He didn't give an answer yet. This is his question.
On himself.
On himself.
Yeah.
Right? No, this is his question on himself. So now go to the left side. Ariel, you want a piece? You want to, in case you don't believe me that he says this, right? So on the left side, right? So he says, "Aval chutz mikol zeh, gam mitzad acher yesh li tema rabasi al haydina dasul lachabed adleka b'Shabbos." Besides for all of this, I don't understand this halacha that you can't tell a guy to put out the fire in your house. Dinei harambam yelchos yisodei haTorah lachadal kasav zelashono v'afal bichenim over mayones. Ein malkin min amisen so shein malkin amisen elul over mirtsono. Right? The Rambam says that if you violate something bonus, you don't get punished. Right? You know the Rambam. Yes?
Yeah, sure.
Right? And then if you skip down, right, right, so the problem therefore is, according to the Rambam, you don't violate the law. What do you violate if you don't give up your life? The aseh of the kidashto, right? Which is, as I said before, therefore, what's his fundamental halachic problem? Is that your house burning down, right? Not telling the guy to do it is not a Isser lav, it's an Isser. Or is it best, even by Avodah Zarah, it's only an Isser Aseh. Because you're not violating Avodah Zarah, you're only... Right, it's only the Kidashto.
This is all assuming you're an honest, wearing halachas to together.
Yeah, fine. So what does he do, right? All this drives him crazy. So what's his conclusion? So he says...
Why don't you just...
What?
Say what I said he should do.
So we find the line.
As Rabbi Catherine said, you're not looking at your Shabbos.
Okay, so go down. So now go down basically halfway down the next paragraph, and this is going to be his conclusion. Right, so therefore he says, when we call makom, right, I don't get it, right? Adavar pela beinai b'chura yachadu shmito. Klalo shel davar inyan zeh tzarchin gadol ve'lavaro. Right, this is very unclear to me. Va'ani lobati el la'orer ki adavar kasha la'omro. It doesn't make sense. Shemechuyev adam li'yishayir hu veido ba'arom v'choser kol v'al yatzal adasher lo ba'aver lav. Why, to not violate a lav, should you why should you have to become impoverished? And this is even if you put it out yourself, because why is it only in a lav if you put it out? Why isn't it misa if you put it out yourself?
It's not his job.
It's malacha shen shechel gufa, right? Because you don't need. Right, it's not even the right. It's amir l'nachri and amir l'nat, right? On a derabanan, right? So even putting it out yourself is only derabanan, right? Because malacha shen shechel gufa.
So why can't tell nachri put it out certainly?
Correct. The ayin betozer kshuvas lamen gimel limol negdu lechanam mishav azario pach letzelem sheikshu v'akshu tzizur bekiva amar mashmachol nodecha etc.
No, I'm saying how you can put out the house.
And therefore he says all the way at the end. He says imkain aniyut midit kol yamav shu yisurin shein lo kitzvah. So he says the Gemara in Ksubo says that even Hanani, Mishael, v'Azariah, had they been not threatened with death but with eternal punishment, so then what would have happened?
They would have gone to punishment.
They would have worshipped the Avodah Zarah in the time of Daniel.
What?
The Gemara says this.
Really?
The Gemara says ilmalei nagdu l'chanan mishav Azariah. Right, if instead of killing them, right, they would have threatened them with eternal punishment, right, like beating them forever, right, they would have worshipped the idol. Now, Rov Rishonim take that as
They're weak.
As they weren't strong enough. There's a kuntrasin quote in the Shidduch Ubetza that takes it as a normative statement, which is even Avodah Zarah, even though it's Yeharag Val Yavor, is not Yeharag Val torture. No, torture Val Yavor. So he quotes this and he says, "You see that even Avodah Zarah for eternal torture, right, or permanent torture, whatever in this world, not eternal, right." Consistent torture would not be Yeharag Val Yavor.
That's interesting.
So he says that's interesting. So he said. So then he says, "Im kain aniyut tmidit." Right? If you can make that argument even by Avodah Zarah, then what? Then for sure poverty for your whole life for non-Avodah Zarah. Shu yisurin shein lo kitzvah, which is infinitely painful. Hu kashar be yoter min netilat neshama V'lachin ani omer shahai milta lav derech klal nemar ones mamon lav ones. So devadim ishu ish bari v'ulam ma'achto b'yado v'farnais et atma v'meidom michul kol mamono ein bezeh tzar hefsed mamon aval ein adom v'koch nevesh aval ish chalush o cholem v'chol basis parnasato etc. etc. What does he say? So what's his conclusion? The Gemara. So what is it? Wait, what's his conclusion? He says, when the Gemara says that you aren't allowed to violate even a derabanan on Shabbos to prevent your house from being burned down, what is it saying? That's only if you're healthy, you have a source of parnasa, you have other houses, you have other property, right? Because then, okay, you have to not violate Shabbos to prevent
your summer house from being burned down.
Yeah, or whatever, prevent you from being less rich. Right. But if you're going to be poor, poverty is like Misa. Boom, the halacha doesn't apply.
I see.
And the only lav in the Torah for which you actually have to become poor is Avodah Zarah. Now, oddly enough, he doesn't say anything about murder, which I find very odd, right? Because, right, meaning he seems to limit it to Avodah Zarah and not the other, even the other big three. So I don't know. But there is example number one, which shocked me, right, of someone who really takes this quite seriously. So then I both put on Facebook and then emailed out to the Gush Rabbinic listserv. Okay, I got one. Please, God, tell me it's only one. Please tell me there's only one posek who thought that this was true. And within 5 minutes, I got an email from one of my dear friends, Noach Goldstein, Torah Shlema. Right? Have you ever seen Torah Shlema? You know that 35-volume book with every Mamar Chazal in any midrash, quasi midrash, and every pasuk in the Torah with Perush on it. That one, from Menachem Kasher. Kasher, that one. So one of my friends, Noach Goldstein. What? No, this is even more than the Torah Tamim. Times 10. It's the Torah Tamim on steroids, right? So Menachem Kasher, he lived in the 20th century, right? So so my friend Noach, Rabbi Noach Goldstein, he emailed me and he said, yes, there is another source in the Miluim of the Torah Shlema, Perek Chav Beis to Mishpatim, which is where I always look for my sources. But this is why it's good to have friends. You're like, that's not why I have friends. But what? Because I said,
You could probably make an app to do it.
So good. Now, Ariel, this question is going to be even more surprising. Okay, so we've just said that in a certain sense that poverty is like pikuach nefesh. What would be the next, even more improbable claim?
You're allowed to be from poverty.
Well, that would be even more, yeah. Or
You're allowed to kill a poor person.
No. You're allowed to.
Davening for him to die.
Someone who's trying to make someone poor is a road Dave, and you can kill him. Right, that would be the next one.
That's what he said.
We can kill.
Look at 18. I could not make this up. I told you I couldn't imagine this, and every time I beat myself up because of course I could have imagined it if I tried hard enough. It doesn't make it right. What?
It's gone off the rails a little bit.
Look, this is what I told you. This is his lesson in never say never. So the Torah Shlema of Kasher says, Yesh lachkor. Look at guys. Yesh lachkor im ganvo me adam kol rechosho bo'urim shenignav nimtza achara geneva b'safek pikuach nefesh mishum oni. Right? If someone steals all your property such that the person is left in a case of safek pikuach nefesh because he's so poor, I don't know what that means. Ve'ein lo eitzalo tzir rechosho meganav. The only way to get my money back from the ganav is rak al yidei sheyimsor oto lemalchut. Is give him over, right? Slightly different, right? Though he brings up different ones. This is a similar case,
but he's saying that's
right?
something actual pikuach nefesh, I thought.
Well, I don't know if that's actually what he says there.
So poor he can't afford.
Like he can't afford food.
Well, okay, but that's still not. We don't call that.
Why?
Oh no, but
It's
not like he killed him because he's poor, so he killed him because he might die because he has no food.
Okay.
It's a bit odd also. I wouldn't say
It's still similar. He says, but he says, look, the yesh safek shebe'eit tvisato yargu et haganav. But there's a suffix, guys. There's a suffix that what? That when if I tell the government, they'll kill him. Im yesh laganav din rodef. Is the ganav a rodef? Shemutal argodo agidei gram. that at least I can kill him, maybe not directly, but is enough of a rodev that can kill him through gram ritzicha.
Well, this sounds totally strange to me. It sounds very normal.
Uchein zeh, and he says similar to yesh listapik, ma devur bo metzia samach beis, v'sham sholchom lederach, v'yad echad men kiton shalmayim, v'shotin shneim mesim, v'imshos echad men megil yishuv, ad shabar v'kiva limin, v'chechi chaymach chayecha kodmen. Alright, and then you have the suffix, right? You have the famous Gemara of Rabbi Kiva and Ben Petora, right? If you're traveling on the way, you only have enough water for one person, do you split it and both die, or just you take it for yourself? Then Nir mitzad tzvarash, im mi she'ein lo mayim, tavaz akidon shal mayim el chaver, b'vadash mitzadin shal chayecha kodmen, mutar lo kacha b'chazara mayim shalo, afal pishazi yamot chavero. So it would seem that if your friend illegally stole the water from you, you could steal it back, even though that would kill him. Right? Vulai yesh lo gamdin rodev. Maybe he's also a rodev. Shemodol atzilo benafsho. That I hear, right?
That's
more reasonable. Correct. Correct.
There's a tunnel into your house.
And then if you skip down 2 paragraphs, and he says, "V'hine ikar hadavar zeh shehaganav yeh alav adayin shem rodev mishum sha'oni shal nirdav herva kemisa." And he says, "Why do I think he's a rodev?" Now you could have said, "Oh, it's because he's actually going to die," right?
Just like the
One second. You could have said that, but then he doesn't.
That would
right?
have been too easy.
Right. That would have been maybe, right? Maybe you'd say, look, if I'm really dying, I'm starving to death, so I can get my money back and whatever happens, right? That's not the argument he takes. He could have. That would have been maybe more normal. But what argument does he take instead? No. Aniyud is Kemisa, and therefore he's a Rodev. Yeah.
Alright.
But he says, but not all. But then he backtracks and he says, but it's only the type of poverty that leads to starvation.
Oh, wait.
Right?
Oh,
right? But because,
No,
but you understand, that's how he understands Aniyut ke, right?
Oh, it's fine. So he's just reinterpreting the God.
Now it doesn't mean,
It's actually like Mesa is going to die.
I feel like this is
now,
unnecessary.
one second. But therefore, now he goes in the direction in a very interesting way. He says, therefore, this is only true in a case where you don't have the option of begging. Right? But if you have the option of begging for food,
Snoring.
so then,
Snoring.
right? So he's not as extreme as the Doravi, but what is he really doing? He's saying,
It's a normal.
Yeah, it's just-
but what is he doing? But what is he doing, right? What's the move he's doing?
You're saying
He's
interpreting the
dying
God
for
doesn't make
drama.
sense.
He's saying that Ani Kemes is
Like a physical actuality.
is literal, but only in the very limited
It's
circumstances.
not all of it. It's just
Correct, right? So what do you have?
Ania Kames when he's actually like he will die.
Right.
Or might die, right?
There's
Meaning,
no access to basic sustenance.
correct, right? Which, again, it's still, I think, decently.
But
Meaning, to put him in din of a rodev is still a bit extreme. Right now, he hedges a bunch, and he says it's only al yedei. That's fine, but you see, but what is he doing? He's taking Ani Kemet as a halachic statement, but
A reality.
right, but reinterpreting Ani Kemet to mean not all poor. It's not that poverty is right Kemet. He said, like, remember we talked about sort of metaphorical ways in which Ani Kemet. He says no, in certain ukimtas, exactly, right, meaning. This is his option, right? Is either you say it's not really halachic, or you say it's halachic. Right now, if we come back sort of methodologically, you kimtify it in such a way that, again, it's still a weird piece,
Are you
right?
sure he's Ani Kames talking about the God and it's like a sound statement?
What?
Are you sure he's Ani Kames is not?
I'd assume.
Yes, he quotes the Gemara. Right? I mean, he quotes the other one, right? There's two, right? It's either called Gozel Chaver Shavapruta Gilu Notel Nishmato or Ani Kemet, right? He just quotes that Agadic statement, right? And says this is the basis for it. And I gave you the whole piece if you want to read it. But here you see, now again, to be fair, the Doravi also sort of made this move, right? Meaning he said it's only, right, like extreme poverty, not like minor poverty. Extreme poverty is Kemet, right? Now, I think methodologically that's the only thing you can do, right? Meaning, simple pshat, I think, is that none of these Gemaras are halachic. But if, Kfar, you want to take it as halacha, you have to kimtify it, because otherwise it's going to contradict too many halacha.
Even if I don't take these Gemaras as a halacha, I would still agree with halacha.
You could. He doesn't take it, but you're right, you could. Now, the last one I'll give you was a question that Rav Zilber, guys, just quickly. The third question that I found was Rav Zilberstein in number 16 was asked the other one, which is, could stealing be Yaharig Val Yavor? Well, he says, what if you're going to steal from a poor person and make him that impoverished? Is now Yaharig Val Yavor.
Fine, yeah.
Oh, fine.
Right?
Saying just regular stealing, not seeing how.
So he says, so Yehudi ani asaf kesef v'toach alav u'samech v'tov leiv shebarach Hashem yitzlech lasav k'tat kesef v'nad l'chaten et vito goy anas ra'ed kaspo machriyas shel shignov lo ketan im lav yargenu ayignov v'lo yareg. So is it Yaharig Val Yavor to steal from this poor person who the money's not for food, it's to marry off his daughter? So now we're going straight to Ani Kamed. It's not, he'll have food one way or the other. Can you steal the money from a poor person that he's going to use to marry off his daughter? Is that Yaharig Val Yavor?
I don't think it's Yaharig Val Yavor.
Well, if it's so, he says what?
He says no.
So he comes up with another Kimta. He says, well, if he has a weak heart, if another Baal Lev Chalash, the trauma. Well, so then you might have said that it's Yaharig Val Yavor because he might get a heart attack. I love these arguments, right? You might give him a heart attack.
Actually happens.
I don't know. Yeah, the guy said, I will force you, but you are allowed to ask a Shaila first before I force you to do it. Great. No, these are theoretical questions.
No, it could be part of like some game.
I don't know.
To get our money.
He says, but on the other hand, you might say that it's Ein Safek Motzei. He said, on the other hand, you might say, guys. He says, but on the other hand, you might say it's Safek and Vadai, because you're not right. The thief is Vadai going to be killed, and the guy might have a heart attack. So maybe you'd say, it's not really Yaharig Val Yavor. And if he dies of a heart attack, that's only murder al yidei grama, right? He always has things like this. Okay, but maybe there's no difference. It's tzarich iyun, right? So he's like, so I can't. He said, I can't say that it's direct, like murder, because he might have a heart attack. Fine. So he says, so based on that, what would you assume? Right? That bizarre argumentation that stealing is not Yaharig Val Yavor, right? There's one position in the Gemara in Ksubos that it is, but fine. At least according to one source, that's a chitzonis. But then what does he say? Well, what does he say? But he says, but what about the Gemara in Bava Kama that stealing is kilu notel is nishmaso, right? She says, it's an agarata. But then he says, no, maybe not. Maybe not. He says, either it's only an agarata and it's not literal, or it's literal but only for a poor person with a bad heart. Mm-hmm. Right. And therefore he raises the possibility, right?
Yeah, I think they shoot. Like as a joke.
What?
I feel like some of these guys are like got into the true running business and like got pranked.
Anyways, so then he seems to lead in the direction that maybe one could, in that case, argue that it would be Yaharig Val Yavor. So again, none of these three poskim just say yes. All poverty is always exactly like misa for halachic purposes, but all three of them assume that it's not just agaric, right? They come up with ukimtas, right, where they say no, it actually is halachic, right? So the Doravi who says that yes, you can even violate Shabbos, right? At least Ramil and Achre. But only for extreme poverty, right? You have the Torah Shlema who says that yes, you could actually treat someone who's stealing from you as a rodiv and allow them to be killed if you will be at a dangerous level of poverty, right? And Rev Zilberstein who says yes, stealing might even become Yaharig Val Yavor if you're putting a person in a dangerous level of poverty. Either for him it's not because you won't be able to eat, it's because the guy is so traumatized that he'll have a heart attack, which is really new kimta.
That's not. Yeah, fine. It's not going to be my God. But the halach will be true even if it wasn't for.
So that's the interesting question. Is it?
And it might have a heart
so
attack.
all three of them invoke these agaratas to prove their point, right? So would they have come up with this halacha if you didn't have this statement? I'm not sure they would have, right? Meaning, what are they doing? They're saying they're saying that ani arei commit. I'm not sure they would have. I don't know if they wouldn't have, right? But all of them invoke it. But at any rate, what this tells you is that Lamaskana, it is not true that nobody took it seriously. No one took it 100% literally, right? But here you have at least three poskim who took it seriously enough, right, that they entertain possibilities that would be circumstances in which ani is actually committed for dinim of pikuach nefesh, of dinim of rodef, Yaharig Val Yavor, and the like. So, like I said, never say never.
But they can both have it doesn't matter if it's an onion or not. It just matters
What?
in this case it's a
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, Zilberstein, it doesn't really matter about, right?
And also the Torah says Shlomo. If let's say I just went and stole a guy's
Torah
food, he
Shlomo.
has tons of money in stocks, he's rich.
Yeah.
But I stole all of his food and he'll be on an island for a month and he'll starve because of that, but he'll still have a lot of money. It'd be the same case.
Ostensibly, yeah. Correct.
It's
Right,
not
that,
about being onion or not.
well, right. Well, that's what he compares it to of the case of Rekiva and Patera. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So both of them, it's not really. They're just reading
But he-
Ani Kameis as a weird agadata and your Kimda on it.
No,
Either way,
so that's the thing is they're not,
they got
right?
it.
Meaning they could have, but they don't. That's what I'm saying. Is they all invoke these arguments, right, based on a particular understanding of Ani Kameis as a halachic
So
statement.
even if they didn't understand that as a halacha statement,
They could have, but that's not what they do. That's what I'm pointing out, right? Methodologically, none of them do that, right? They take the assumption that this all stems from a literal interpretation, albeit an alchemtified interpretation of Ani Kameis.
I don't know where it stems from in their mind, but either way, without it, they still hold the
Fine, but I'm talking about how they take it, right? In terms of how they read the Agarata, right? Their tendency is to read it halachically, and if that requires an ukimta that makes it that, if I want to put it, right, if you want to put it your way, if I can come up with an ukimta that one theoretically could make a plausible halachic argument, even without the Agadata, then I'm willing to accept the Agadata as halachically relevant, if that's what you're saying. Maybe that is the methodology that's driving them, I'm not sure, right? But it's clear that something or other like that is driving them to believe that this Agadata is
Yeah.
literal, at least under certain circumstances, yes. Okay. Anyways, now I'm done with that experiment. Now that I've been on it, I've also been. Someone posted on my Facebook wall so that Rav Shechter had said this under certain circumstances, but then he clarified that Shechter was referring to a piece in the Parador where the Chazon Ish says a similar thing, was that it would be poverty would be pikuach nefesh if, when people, I think, was escaping from the Holocaust, if by stealing their money they would no longer have enough money to bribe the officials to get out. I'm like, okay, that's another case where one could construct, right? That would be a similar thing along these lines. Okay?